Got another Sunday run day in the books. Just pulled up. About to get some miles in. And it's really crazy because when I think about it, I really used to despise running. It's crazy to think how much I enjoy running now in comparison to how it was like when I actually ran track in high school or even played basketball. I absolutely hated conditioning season. Hated track practice. Love the track meets. Hated track practice. I remember my homeboy, he'll hit 4 or 5 miles in the morning, and I'm like, that's too much. Why are you doing all that? Like, who wants to run that much? And here I am, twice a week, running 3, 4 miles, running 30 minutes straight. And it's the best thing. I love it. My Sundays are, that time for me to get my thoughts together, reflect on the past week, kind of set some intentions for the week coming up. And like I said, just clear my mind, talk to God, move my body. And I just always feel so good. It just makes me think of, those things that you don't necessarily want to do, but they may be the good thing for you. And that's what I feel like is important to think about when it comes to, building habits or doing the difficult thing or doing the thing that you may not favor the most. Especially when it comes to you doing something that's a lot more different than some of the things that you've been doing. When you're trying to reach goals that you've never obtained before or break habits that you've constantly have, been in a loop with. I think that sometimes we have to force ourselves to do the difficult thing. And in doing that, we see a different level of results that we may not have been expecting to experience initially or experience when we set out that goal, or we have those moments where we're trying to figure out like what is it that we're going to do next. For me, like I said, just realizing that sometimes those difficult things are the things that we need to do to get us to the place that we've been holding ourselves back from, or the place that we're meant to be in. You just can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, especially if you're wanting more. Something as simple as a Sunday run day has just shifted and altered my way of thinking when it comes to my stubbornness, or me thinking that I know what I should be doing and shouldn't be doing, or the things that I say no to. It's opened my mind to saying like, hey, you need to try new things, and you need to try to do things differently sometimes. I'm very fixed. I'm a fixed sign, and I'm very fixed in the things that I feel are for me. But I would say within the last year or two, I've opened my mind in a way to where I'm more, and it's crazy because I'm also a very open-minded person, but I've opened myself up to doing things differently that I may have been avoidant of or fearful of. And I would say that part is what's been altering for me when it comes to just experiences and some of the things that I'm learning. And that's my key thing. As long as I can learn, as long as I can grow, I feel like I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. One thing that I encourage people to do is just try something different that you feel that you may not have wanted to do in the past, or things that you've rejected, and just try something different. Not because it's something new that it may not be something that you constantly implement in your life. It may just be, hey, this is a new experience, this is what it is. Or it may be something new that you begin to implement into your life. But either way, I feel like when you take an opportunity to do something different, or you take an opportunity to go against your nose. You open yourself up to new experiences and new possibilities to help you see things a bit different, or gain perspective on something that you may have had a fixed vision on. So, Sunday Run Day for me is that. It has allowed me to gain perspective. And with gaining perspective, I feel myself propelling forward into a direction that I've been wanting to get to, but there has been some resistance there. So, yeah, breaking free of that resistance. About to get this run in. 28 minutes later, and we done. And this one was a little tough. My hips feel a little tight this morning. Yeah, even while running, wanted to give up. It gets difficult, but I think what's important as you navigate doing challenging things or challenging yourself to do things that you typically don't prefer to do or don't want to do is to push through. A lot of times we tell ourselves we can't do something. In actuality, we just don't want to. And I feel like as we get older, a lot of times, we stop challenging ourselves for, so many different reasons, like, disappointment, or just also considering, hey, welcome back. We stop, challenging ourselves because, we fail or we disappoint ourselves in the process, or we don't get the results that we desire. So as we get older, we start doing, the comfortable thing, or we start doing the things that, we know will guarantee us the results that we want. And I think that's the easiest way to grow stagnant, and the easiest way to kind of find yourself in a place of contentment. It hinders us from growing because you're not putting yourself through challenges and things that you have to persevere through and things that you have to learn from. And so we start learning through things by default. And a lot of times it's harder to navigate things by default because we don't know how to approach it. And so, you end up in a loop, or you end up in a cycle of the same lesson because it's the path that you're taking isn't the direction that God has really created for you. And a lot of times when we're on that path instead of the path that's aligned with God, it's a bit more challenging because we're taking pathways that aren't necessarily accessible to us as far as like providing us with the perspective to get through it. So, I think of it like you're going down the hallway, and instead of just going straight to the door that you have the key for, you stop at all the doors before trying to unlock them. And the key that you have isn't for those particular doors. It's for the doors at the end of the hallway, the one that's straight ahead. But, we get distracted, or like I said, we choose the default, the thing that's closest to us or the thing that's easiest to us. And we find ourselves, in front of these closed doors. So, yeah, I think challenging ourselves and not allowing ourselves to be limited in the things that we do is important as adults for us to continue to grow. Because for whatever reason, people think that, once you become a certain age, like that's it. That's what you're supposed to be doing, and that's your pinnacle. Like you get the job that you want, you get married, you have the kids, and then that's it. But if that's what you desire, sure, but even in that, you're still gonna grow. You should grow in your job, you should grow in your marriage, you should grow as a parent. You shouldn't stop growing. But a lot of times, we get stuck. Doing things that challenge you can open your perspective to how you start approaching everyday things in your life when you take a moment to just do something that's not comfortable. So, like I said, get out there today and challenge yourself, or make a goal this week to challenge yourself and do something that you typically wouldn't do.